He wants to see a girl dancing on the tailgate.
Hey, wait a minute. Sorry, hold on. Put a pause right there, Renee. Sorry, we have to pause the guest here. Hold on, wait a minute. I'm not going to take this anymore, okay? Wait a minute. So.
Hey everyone, what's happening? I'm Kevin McLaughlin, and this is the Riffs and...
I'm Paul Robertson, and this is the Rhythms Podcast.
No, it's the Riffs and Rhythms Podcast.
Rhythms.
Riffs and Rhythms.
Hey, by the way, did you know we got a great guest today, and, you know, it's interesting that it's National Guitar Month, and we have a drummer on this episode.
That's how we roll.
That's right, because... It's probably always my fault, as Kevin will always say here. But anyway, so what have you been up to here?
Oh man, you know the thing that has been taking up the most of my time is
Sleep.
That for sure, but not enough of my time, honestly.
Is it also taking up your time coming up with new drummer jokes?
Trying to think of something to tell you right now is actually taking a lot longer than I thought it would. But I'm in the midst of my music release schedule, and being an artist with no record company, I've got to do all the promotion on a teensy budget, and it's time consuming.
Yeah, I mean, isn't in life when you have things to do, like if you owned a farm, you have more kids? Don't you have kids to do this stuff?
I do, but they've got their own lives.
Oh, okay, I guess.
But it's the same thing with everything. Either you have to utilize money or your time. You have to have one or the other. And right now I've got time, so I'm using a lot of time to do grassroots promotion so that somebody might actually listen to my music.
It's actually coming along. I see it's on showing up on playlists.
Yeah, it's showing up on playlists all over the world. I just for promotional purposes, I just put together a few, like what the critics are saying. You know, a few quotes, and it's kind of cool. It feels good that they're actually saying good things about my music.
They like me. They really, really like me. So it is also on Day by Day is actually on the Drums and Rums Spotify playlist.
It
actually,
is. We haven't officially reviewed it yet, though.
We have not, so we're saving that one. So we've got a special guest that we're going to put you in the hot seat there.
I believe that special guest will be coming up in a couple of weeks.
Okay, very good. So stay tuned to find out who's going to help me
secret special guest
review Kevin's song. Did you choose which one you want to go? Did you want to go Day by Day or
Let's go Day by Day?
Day by Day. Okay. All right. So enough about us here. So let's get to our guest that we have on the podcast here. So let us welcome to the podcast. I've known him for quite a many years. We've got some stories that we're going to recant. We're not sure if it's actually legally we're allowed to talk about this, but let's welcome to their podcast Rene Rivera of the Andrew Morris Band. How you doing, Rene?
I'm well. Thanks for having me be a part of this, and great seeing you again as usual, Paul. It's always fun, and pleasure meeting you, Kevin. So
yeah, man.
I guess buckle up, because who knows what dumb shit I'm going to say between now.
Perfect. You came to the right podcast.
Yeah, you're in the right spot for sure. And that's our script, actually.
Awesome. I love it. Love it.
Drink and say stupid shit. That should be on the shirt.
Yes, it should.
It should.
It should be the first shirt we put out.
I'm setting up a I had a bootleg at the Beer 30 show you did there on April 20th. There, I had a bootleg merch table set up in the parking lot. I don't know if you knew that. So
wow. Well, that's okay.
I'm assuming you don't care as long as you get your money.
Hopefully, there'll be some sort of huge licensing scandal that we can trump.
That'd be perfect, right? Or we can make one up. It doesn't matter. But
yeah, there you go.
So, yeah, speaking of scandal, Rene.
Yes.
Tell us about how...
there's scandal involved with Rene.
No, he leads a good life.
Yeah, I try. I'm a good guy, but I talk a lot of shit and I act like a total fucking idiot. Part of the problem is, truthfully, is I don't know. Maybe it's a drummer thing or other guys who play drums. Like, I'm kind of an introvert, so it's like if I really feel like I'm at peace and I know the folks around or whatever, like I don't have a problem being me or whatnot. But if I'm thrown into a situation where it's just like I have no idea what's going on,
like an orgy,
or that, yeah. Sponsored by Trojan. Okay. And then I go, I'm there. I like clam up like something fierce.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky enough that my soon-to-be wife, she is very good at like, breaking the ice or whatever, where I'm just like, leave me the fuck alone. Nobody talk to me.
Well, hey, man, I got
Please.
something that will help
Talk
you.
to us.
I'm big into exposure therapy. So everyone,
Expose yourself.
everyone, Rene here is an introvert. He wants to be left alone. So when you go to a show that he's playing at, make sure you go up and talk to him.
Well, I do.
A big hug.
I do try to. I am very engaging, like at shows, because like no matter what you're doing, like you're there not just to entertain, but if you're doing it well and you're doing it for money, it's a job. So you can't be a prick or an asshole, and that's just gonna screw up your reputation even more. But like it gets really, I just say it turns into like a freaking Lampoon comedy hour because I just start saying whatever dumb fucking things the voices in my head start telling me to say when I'm on the mic in between like the breaks and stuff. And like, I get
Like a lead singer does.
yeah, I get
Apparently he is very comfortable right now because I don't know how many
Yes.
curse words he's just dropped.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
gonna have to get
sorry guys, you might have to-
monetized.
No, that's okay.
We're getting undemonetized in the money that
We're
we
going
don't
to get
actually
remonetized.
taking it away.
This is family program.
Our
kids.
unmonetization
PBS.
is going to be unmonetized.
So no, yeah, what's funny is you say that because there's times that I have, and maybe as I've gotten older, have evolved a little bit more outgoing.
Yeah.
There are times I'm the same way.
Mm-hmm.
There's times when I don't want to talk to anybody, right? Or I'm just kind of, I don't get too engaged because maybe I don't know and I'm not that much. But
Yeah.
some will say, no, you're very extrovert, and I'm like, there's a.
And that I get that all the time. Like when I tell people like, oh, like I'm introverted, they literally look like I have like 6 freaking heads. They're like, no, you're not. Like, and I'm like, no, dude, like you have no idea.
I have some theories about this, but I'm not going to actually share it on the show because it's a little too risque for where I want to go. At the
Yeah.
moment. I'll just say that because it does involve some inappropriate things. So
Yeah, okay.
As does everything you do.
yeah, why should I stop now?
Well, we'll see how far that goes though too, with more booze that we drink.
There you go.
Let's speak about more booze that we drink.
He's
yes.
drinking beer. Have a sip of beer. Get comfortable.
Sure, I will. Thank you for getting me a beer. Yeah, speaking of, let me jump before we get into learning more about Rene. Speaking about drinking stuff here. So, Rene and I know each other for quite a few years now,
Yeah.
almost over 4 years or so.
Absolutely.
And he's going to go into some of his music that he's performed previously. The current band he's in and current and so forth. But Rene was guest number 2 on the Drums and Rums podcast.
Way cool. You're a veteran.
Yeah, and thank you, thanks, Mom. Not just the second guest though too. Like I have to be genuinely honest and also appreciative. Like Paul has been extremely gracious through his podcast Drums and Rum to have had me back. I think 3 or 4 times. 2 of the 3 or 4 times to actually be a
Co-host.
a sidekick, co-host or whatever for Dorothea Taylor, who, in case for you non-drumming people, she is this gorgeous and incredible elderly woman, I believe in her late 60s, maybe early 70s. Dorothea, don't kill me. I'm sorry. I still love you.
She's really 35.
And she, believe it or not, she was on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon like about 6 months ago.
No kidding.
Jamming out against like Questlove, and amongst other things. Long story short, she's incredible. And when I say that, and Paul could attest to this too, like, I mean, dude, her first introduction to the world, like amongst us drum nerds, is through the online learning platform called Drumeo, which you've actually done an episode with Jared Falk, who's one of the founders. They're based out of Canada, blah, 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 whatever. Grandma did a fucking kick-ass cover of Down with the Sickness by Disturb.
Oh, wow.
Note for note. And you're like, wait a minute. Like, Grandma is like making us all look like a bunch of biatches, like right now, and dominating. And as soon as I saw that video, I fell in love because it was just inspiring. Like it was just freaking awesome. So anyway, I digress. So he was generous and gracious enough to invite me to do that one. I think it was like before Dorothea. Juan Carlito Mendoza, another phenom drummer. He's not so much in like the spotlight per se. His biggest area of recognition, believe it or not, I think was the 2019 or 2018. I forget, and if I get the date wrong, something like that.
Drum Off, right?
The Drum Off Festival that Guitar Center used to do or whatever.
Right.
He won the national, title.
Oh wow.
And his like solo was like what pop, funk, and then like Latin kind of grooves and rhythms like all intermingled in between, and you're just like, holy crap. Anyway, long story short, he came and met on Paul's Drums and Rum podcast. Paul invited me because his full-time gig is he's an educator. He's actually a music teacher up in New Jersey. Does lessons on the side and has like his own channel or whatever. And he's published now. He's got 2 books. And then he's also, I think he does like sub work and things like that for some of like off-Broadway or Broadway performances, playing for some of their deals as well. Amazing human being, right? I mean, super freaking nice. And just stupidly talented. So anyway, and then you've had me on a second time as another guest appearance. I think it was like one of your Friday live or something like that.
Yeah.
So no, it's been fun. So yeah, Paul and I go way back, and Paul's just a great guy, and I was very grateful and happy to be a part of this adventure with both you guys and get to meet Kevin, and he gets to see how stupid I am. And
Oh no, you totally rock, man.
Who knows, right? You guys may actually, line up and maybe gig together, put a
Yeah.
show together or something
Who
like
knows,
that.
man?
You never
He's
know how many drummers are going to actually show up at a Kevin McLaughlin gig.
Well, we know there's going to be 2 drummers at your Saturday show, right?
I
Because
can't wait to find out who the other one is.
So Rene and I, again, I'm going to give a shout out to a different Brad this time. Actually, I know we usually talk about Brad Brock on the podcast, but I want to give a shout out to Brad Evanson, a good friend of mine. He was actually part of the Shack here, one of the original members of what I always refer to the Dad Band, or I'm wearing the shirt tonight we called ourselves Lords of Leisure.
good name though.
I thought about
Great band.
I thought about it's like marketing is LOL. There's so much to it, and then these guys kind of decided to kind of put it.
You don't need them.
Yeah, I know. I
You just have your own Lords of Leisure brand clothing.
There you
I
go.
should start. I seriously did think about this. So
Dad clothes.
Yeah.
I love. Okay,
Just start with underwear.
Yeah,
Make sure
we're-
the crotch
we're-
is super soft and
what?
what?
Yeah, something to keep
What is-
your stretching, dangly
What?
Because
parts from hitting you in
As
the
you-
The
knees.
zoo? I've never heard of
as you get older, is that what it is? As you get older,
Yes,
kind
yes,
of.
yeah.
Yeah. So you need the right.
Need more support.
Support. Yeah. The size depends. Anyway, so I've known Rene for quite a long time here. He was a drummer in a band at that time when we met.
Yep.
Loch Ness Monster,
Yep.
right? Yep. So that was all original band. You guys played no
covers. And we, I think still to this day, unanimously hold the record for the longest freaking interview / conversation in the history. I probably think in the history of all freaking podcasts.
Yeah.
Because we were probably here for like 4 hours
Yeah. This
or
is
longer than that.
This is when I was just starting out,
4-hour podcast?
bro. It was crazy, right?
Oh, and we killed like a whole bottle of fucking Jack and half a bottle of like some kind of rum.
Nice.
It was discouraging for what else do we have to drink?
Oh, I think we killed the fridge.
Is that what ended the conversation as you were out of
No, I think at some point, like either I or Paul looked at the clock and were like, "It's gonna be like 11:30," and we started like at 6. So we gotta go.
It was
pretty much
it was
that.
rough. It was rough. The 3 of us here.
So you've got a 4-hour marathon podcast somewhere?
well after
We edited it, of
yeah,
course.
I had to chop it down.
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
Once I went through that afterwards, I says, I will never again. So when I started the podcast, I was trying to figure out how do I want to do drums and rums? Do I want to talk to drummers and we're going to sample rum and
Yeah.
we're going to talk about it? So we start bringing a bottle in. I did that in the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Did that in the second episode. Well, the second episode stop that from happening ever again because of let's
Me.
just drink a whole bottle of rum in
was
one
amazing.
sitting and then more. And
This is what happens when you leave drummers unattended.
yeah, and then we did have a third here with us too, and that
Yep.
was with Brad, who we were talking about, Brad Evanson, and great bass player, man. If
Yeah.
you're ever looking for a bass player, Kevin, there's to pitch in there.
Great guy,
Brad's
too.
super great guy. He puts his time in. He does his homework. He is ready to go.
Yep.
And actually, he's playing I think Saturday night up at Fort Pierce. I don't know, but I know or whenever it is, but yeah, super great guy. He was one of the guys in the band, and he was actually the bass player that when I've talked about this before when I was trying to get something started with Chris and Vaughn. He was the bass player. So
cool.
We were just wrapping up our dad band thing, and Brad and I were trying to look to do a little bit more and take it a little bit more further, but that didn't kind of pan out, but.
Just life and circumstances.
Exactly. So, yeah, no, I appreciate you there, Rene, coming on there, hanging with me on some of these episodes. I know the Dorothea episode there, I know you were trying to refrain from fanboying too much, where he's like, am I really talking to Dorothea Taylor?
She was super cool. Super cool.
Awesome. Dave Raouf, right? That first year you were helping me land some guests.
I haven't heard it yet, but when you sent me a text, like 2-3 weeks ago or a month ago about Tito Puente Jr., I was like, holy fucking shit.
Yep.
Like he's become iconic and legend in his own right. But then you have to go back to, the Grandmaster, his old man, Tito Puente Sr.
Yep.
Who, I mean, I guess my drumming, I would like to say I'm kind of versatile. And I'm not one of those kind of cats where, or I am one of those kind of cats where if you ask the $1 million question, if you're not a musician or just someone's just trying to get to know me, whatever, it's like, oh, like what kind of music, are you into? I'm the guy that you hate answering because I'm like, oh, like I like everything. But it's true. Everything from metal, depending. If it's like hardcore, like screamo crap, if it's that kind of stuff, I'm more focused on the drumming because some of those guys play some crazy things.
Right.
But I like something where the vocalist has some kind of actual, vocal tonal value and there's melody and you can hear an actual voice for like 12 hours.
Yeah.
And then nothing but like freaking blast beats for like the whole 3 minutes. We were just like, oh, like that's cool and all, but like there's got to be more to it than just that kind of stuff.
Well, you're right. Loch Ness Monster, original band. I know. It's. I guess it's the band's kind of.
Yeah, we kind of went our own
shelved
stuff.
it, right?
Yeah.
But speaking of the vocals, though, Bruce had an amazing voice, right? Bruce was operatic trained or something to that.
So
effect.
yeah, our singer in that project, Bruce, his name was Bruce Donaldson. He was classically trained vocalist. He got a full ride scholarship up to UCF for music. Yeah, man, and the guy's voice was like stupid, and everyone that we would let them hear, our stuff were like, holy shit, like your singer's voice is like fucking mental. So yeah, I mean, so it ranges from that, and like if you go back and you listen to some Loch Ness Monster stuff, which is on all streaming platforms, blah blah blah. It's very rock driven, kind of anywhere from straight alternative to harder rock kind of vibe to occasionally like a little bit of shoegaze, which was just a conglomeration of all of our interests. To where I'm at now, playing in a country band. Again, kind of showing that versatility of being aware of like the different styles of music and what's required, and then if you sat me down with a pair of congas or some timbales, I can play some Latin shit, which is, so again, just kind of.
I can tell you can play them properly by the way you say the words.
Thank you.
You're pronouncing them as if.
Timbales.
Is that what gives the credibility? Because you can roll your R's.
The timbales.
Well, if he said timbales and then he said he was playing, some other style, I'd be like, yeah, that's weird. But because he's playing Latin, then it makes sense.
Yeah, not the tamales.
Not tamales.
No, they throw the tamales.
Yeah. If you suck real bad. So so it's just that's kind of been I guess kind of my success is making sure that I'm open to kind of learning different kinds of styles of music, and kind of just enjoying that journey along the process and seeing what kind of happens. So.
Right. So how'd you end up when because you were a little bit that hiatus there with Loch Ness Monster, kind of doing in COVID time frame. I think was right around that time. How did you end up with Andrew?
So I've been now with the Andrew Morris Band for a year, and I think it was we had just hit a year with Loch Ness Monster, like releasing our second EP that was called "Working for a Future." We were kind of trying to write some stuff, had some things, blah blah blah. We weren't really playing out, because truth of the matter. South Florida's original music scene has really kind of died down exponentially over the course of the last 25 years. Before, you used to have bands left and right playing all over the place, original music, bars, venues were like, oh yeah, hell yeah, come on out, let's try it. Now it's kind of like a dying breed. Anyway, hashtag frustration. So somewhere in between that, I was actually at a training with my job. I'm a school teacher. Or a guidance counselor now. The state trusts me with your children, people. Anyway, long story short, I was at this training or whatever, and I get a text message from Mike Cheney, who's the bass player for the group, and he's like, "Hey, man, we're looking for a guy to kind of take over drums. Would you be interested?" But I guess before I go into that detail even further, I kind of knew them, not as close as I know them now, obviously, but I knew of them. I knew who they were. They were really great guys before any of this kind of started to manifest through my years playing with another country band that kind of were the band that gave me my first break kind of deal. They were called Burnt Biscuit. They still perform around here. They're amazing. And whenever we would play at Uncle Mick's right up here in Jupiter, Andrew and their old drummer, Chuck Ficker, would pop in, sometimes Mike, and they would, sit in a couple times, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Well, during COVID or post-COVID, 2021, their drummer, Chuck, sadly passed away.
Oh, wow.
Not COVID-related, but it was kind of like a shock. We were just freaking, I knew Chuck. Chuck was a freaking great guy. Great freaking player. Singer, too. It was a freaking trip, and he and we never really got to see each other face to face a bunch, but we would always kind of talk shit or just kind of checking on each other on the book of face. And anyway, so when he passed, I was like, frick. So kind of like a year and 2 years go by, they're kind of doing their thing. They had another cat that I guess was kind of at the helm, and then this is when Mike kind of hit me up February of last year. And I was kind of like, well, why not? If you're gonna gig out, they're going to pay, not that playing with Loch Ness was not fun, but it's I'm not really making any extra dough from it. So why not, extra money, have fun going out there, and I'm bettering my skills the more you're out playing no matter what. So I was like, sure, why not? So I was like, well, just let me know what's what and send me a set list of whatever you got. And so he texted me the whole set list. And I was like, okay, banging. And then, he's like, hey, so Andrew's going to give you a shout, maybe tomorrow or in a couple days, whatever, to kind of just get the vibe. I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. So Andrew called me and he was like, hey, man, I sent him I got a website and the YouTube page just, for that reason. Hey, you want to know if I know how to play? Check here. There's evidence. So, they knew that I played country stuff. They knew I had whatever. And they were like, okay, yeah, blah, blah, blah. So a week goes by, and then I get a text from Mike, and throw me on a group feed with the whole rest of the guys. And they're like, hey, we're playing over here at Grouper in Jupiter. If you can make it, that'd be great. Kind of like trial by fire. Let's just jump you in the thing. No rehearsal, no nothing.
Wait. So you're getting thrown into a gig. Were they planning to have a drummer or just go no drummer in that gig?
So at this point, I think it was kind of like a trio vibe. and I think they had already. I'm not sure on the the backstory before I came in. I think the guy had departed a couple months already before. There was just a little bit of friction and some other things. I don't want to be disparaging from what I know. It was whatever. And they kind of, they were like, yo, like this ain't working. And I think there was some disagreement amongst some of the players when they were trying to be like, hey, like, you kind of got to fix this. And his ego was, I guess, from what I gather, was a little too much before that, or too big, and he didn't want to hear it. Anyway, so yeah, it was just kind of like surprise, and then funny because it was like about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or whatever. They had sent me the list. I hadn't listened to shit, and it was like Monday of that week of all freaking weeks, which is kind of funny and fortuitous. Like the voice in my head was like, "Hey, dickhead, you should probably listen to this shit because at some point they're gonna call you, and you don't want to look like an idiot." So I was like, "Okay." And in my classroom, I didn't care. I had like nothing but the country playlist like on loop, and the kid's like, "Oh, I like this song." I was like, "I'm listening. I'm studying. Can you stop? Do your work."
We can see why you're now the guidance counselor and not overseeing.
No, they're good kids. I love my job. So yeah, then they called me up, and then so here's what's even funnier. So we go to the gig, set everything up, kind of officially do the meet and greets with all the cats. I knew Andrew already, but same thing. We hadn't seen each other face to face in a while. And Mike was like, "Hey, if there's stuff like I'll cue you." And I told him, I was like, "Hey, I did my homework, I listened, but if there could be someone there who could music direct me, give me like a good lead into make a break or whatever, give me the signal, however it is, and I'll follow. If I kind of shit the bed the first round, just know by the second I'll pretty much have the roadmap and figure it out." Okay. First song we play wasn't even on the freaking set list that they gave, but I nailed it. And like Mike turned around playing bass, and Steve Siciliano, who's a guitar player, Steve kind of looked back, because he didn't know he was getting into either. And Steve just kind of looked back kind of with his face like, okay. And Mike was like, he was literally mouthing like, "I have a boner." And he was like, he's like, "I found a guy who can play, and I think like the time signature was like 6/8. And he was just like, "I love you. I love you." And I was like, "Dude," it was like, we still got 3 hours. Like I can completely destroy this and not be invited back. So
wait, let me get this straight. They hired you onto the gig of like 5 days before, and they gave you a song list, and the first song they played wasn't on the list.
Nope.
And it was in 6/8.
Yeah.
Oh, so like they weren't really coddling you in any way, were they?
Oh, hell no.
How do you refrain from saying "you motherfucking bastard"?
Yeah, like that's not fair. Bait and switch.
That's right. That's in Renee's head.
Yeah, that's the bait and switch alert.
Yeah.
Wait, play that again. Okay, great. Thank you.
And what did Mike turn around and say to you? Because this is getting clipped.
He's like, I think I have a boner, and he's like, "And I love you, Renee." And so like that was
That's TikTok worthy right there.
So we after that, and then I don't even know like the order, because here's the deal too. Even still now, when when I play with them live, like there's no written set list. It's all like audibles and kind of pick it up. So we did play a vast majority of like what was sent to me, and I kind of listened and did whatever. And some of the stuff like I did know from playing in other bands or whatever. And then there was definitely a couple curveballs where I was just like, nope. They were like, this one? I was like, nope, no clue. You can tell me where I gotta go? He's like, yeah. I was like, okay, cool. So I'm gonna follow. I was like, just give me a reference of like the groove. Is it, shuffle, straight rock, four on the floor, halftime, whatever. It's just okay, cool. And then they liked it, and here I've been with them now for a year, going on a year and a half. And it's fun. So, and that's kind of what I do.
Do you, again, not intentional, right? You don't believe that was intentional. It just kind of happened, right? In some of the set that you were given and not realizing, or they went in because they were playing as a 3-piece mostly and so forth, is that they're used to a certain set as a 3-piece, or especially Andrew sometimes plays solo, right? And then you sometimes are a duo with him.
Yeah,
too,
Andrew
right?
will do some solo stuff, and we'll do duos and trio kind of things where I've kind of sat in with them too. But no, Chuck had been playing with them for like 20, 25 years.
Oh wow.
And Mike's been with Andrew for like freaking 30 plus years.
Wait, how old is Andrew then?
Andrew's
35?
no, I think he's I think he's like in his mid 30s. He's I'm
wait,
not
wait,
the
wait,
old. I'm the
wait,
second
wait,
second
wait,
of the older
wait,
cat.
wait,
So they started
Rene, whoa.
gigging when they were
Whoa,
in kindergarten?
whoa.
Is that what you're
All
saying?
I don't.
Okay,
Well,
back up here,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna have to call you out a little bit here.
no, you're good. You're good.
I know you're not a math teacher, a history teacher,
Nope.
right?
I'm a history teacher. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. The math isn't adding up here, is what we're getting at. Do you have your numbers wrong? Is this your final answer?
He's been playing
No,
with
no,
them for
it's-
30 years, and how old
Yeah,
is he?
no, he's no. So, Mike actually met Andrew, like I said, 30 plus years ago, and has been playing with them for a
Right, so
while.
they've
And
been
he
playing with
was,
kids or kids, is what.
yeah, but Mike's older. Mike's.
Oh, he's sweating now. Look, he's sweating. We called him out on
Ooh.
math, and he's all
Mike.
messed up now.
Mike is, I think. Well, I'm not going to give age, but he's
Old.
he's in his prime.
Oh, that's nice.
There you go.
Ah,
Oh.
there you go. Good
But
recovery.
he knew. I think Andrew's first like breakout, and I don't recall the name of that project that they were with before.
Right.
I think Andrew was like 16 when he first started out.
Okay, yeah.
When I first started out, like playing an actual bar or joint like that, and that the legend has it is that the minute he opened his mouth, like pretty much everyone who was listening to him basically creamed his shorts, because he's got a freaking awesome voice, and he's definitely got that really.
He's got that.
soft, good Southern country drawl in his vocal range, and he could, hit a lot of notes.
So we're going to listen to a little bit of the song here in the review.
Yep.
But before we do, what would you say he would be compared to give a reference? Is he like a little bit like Stapleton, a little bit?
Yeah, and I think that's kind of where Andrew's the old soul of country music, if that makes any sense.
No, we've talked about this actually in previous guests about the Old Testament, New Testament, talking about Garth Brooks, right? Garth Brooks was the end of the Old Testament, and the New Testament started with New Country, right?
Yeah, and I would
Kevin
even
doesn't remember the
and
episode.
and I would even go. I would.
I don't know that I would compare country music to the Bible.
Well, we were talking about like old school, new school kind
Oh,
of
that
stuff.
that sounds way better.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but you got some country folks that might compare it to the Bible.
That's
or
right.
to-
That's right.
They will shank you and lynch your ass if you.
That's very Bibleistic to be shanking
misstep.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's my Puerto Rican side. Sorry. So he, no, but like, if you talk to Andrew and if you kind of go like on the website and read the bio and all that stuff like that, hashtag I did it. He'll tell you like his grandfather's influence of like that even older generation of country of George Jones, Johnny Paycheck, Jerry Lee Lewis, Waylon Jennings, guys who are now legends, really in the country music pantheon, if you will, of great singers or whatnot or artists. That's Andrew, and he's very true to that. And I think if there's one thing that's kind of cool on our end is to kind of be with a singer / artist that's like, I don't really want to compromise too much of what makes country great. So that storytelling component, of the song,
Right.
and so yeah, and and then I would just kind of say that I guess based on that, in today's, I might get wrapped in the mouth for saying it. I'm not a super huge fan of today's newer modern country stuff that's overproduced or has all this like, ridiculous hip hop drumming stuff on top of it. It's almost kind of like country music from my perception is like this identity crisis of like we have no idea who the fuck we are. Are we country and playing? Hey, go ahead. You can crank that one up loud.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That reminds me of a moment. I was out working a show at a mud bog festival, and all of the guys did the thing where they took all the pickup trucks and they backed them up and they made this giant circle bumper to bumper, and they put the stripper poles in the Class 3 hitch, and they're playing all this hardcore rap, and I'm thinking, these guys are playing this music, but if one of those artists showed up, they'd probably just shoot him before he got too close.
Yeah.
It doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, I don't care.
Wait. Where's the stripper party?
Dude, you don't even want to know.
It's
And you don't want to be invited to that.
You don't want to go
Actually-
because it's horrible.
There's one that cruises around Clematis in downtown West Palm.
There's this picture average-looking girls with mud all over them
Not even
in
average.
safety orange and green bikinis,
Kevin, you're being nice.
dancing on the tailgate of.
Are you trying to talk me out of
with a
something here?
pole.
I don't. You're not doing a good job here.
A collective of 3 teeth and,
Yeah.
you know.
Right now, he's describing something that it'd be probably awkward if I tell him what's going on
Well,
underneath the table.
it might be a spoiler alert, but here's. I know we'll get to it
Now
later.
we know what Paul's into. He wants to see a girl dancing on the tailgate.
Hey, wait a minute. You're sorry. Hold on.
No.
Put a pause right there, Renee. Sorry, we're at the pause the guest here. Hold on. Wait a minute. I'm not going to take this anymore. Okay, wait a minute. So you're the guy that goes through all these bike fest, bike week, cabbage patch, coleslaw, whatever wrestling, and then you're giving me shit about girls that are in the mud there. And
But hold on.
wait, there's more.
You got to know, though, dude, because here, I know it's not part of the segment, but I'll figure out another story to tell you later on. But Tales.
No, imagine this. If I'm going
Yeah,
to,
go for it.
I think I'll be able to encapsulate the thought you
Go
have.
ahead. Yeah.
So I'm there, and there's this girl with a bikini on, and she's probably 5'4", okay, 185 pounds,
Oh, that sounds like a Sir Mix-a-Lot song.
Mm-hmm.
wearing a safety green bikini, and a big splotch of mud right on the back of the bottom of the bikini.
Yep.
And I'm looking at her, and she's dancing like a snake that's been stepped on.
Yep.
And I'm looking at her, and I'm going, if I was anywhere but Mudfest, I would literally be puking right now.
Oh no! I think when it happened to me, I think I did puke, and I went and I ran off the stage and locked myself in the trailer of the van. It's like I don't want to fucking see this.
Yeah, bait and switch alert.
It was like what just happened here?
Yeah, it's kind of like
So no, she didn't have any mud flaps.
she
Listen,
had some mud flaps, and they were flapping some mud. I can tell you right now,
They-
and it was evident.
listen. I've only seen the Elephant Man one time, and that's pretty much what I fucking saw dancing on this mud bog joint. And on top of me, like hearing, "I am not an animal,"
Hey, listen.
and I ran into the freaking back of the trailer. I was like, "No."
Yeah.
what is-
Meanwhile,
what is this?
there's a bunch of I'm not an animal dancing on a pole to Flo Rida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like Florida Georgia Line, and you're like, what? Like what?
Hey,
What are you
Renee.
doing?
Renee, we don't kink shame here, okay?
Kink? What?
Kink.
Oh,
You got words?
I'm finding something out about you.
Oh,
You've got
Oh,
a
are
kink
you
about
trying to-
mud wrestling girls.
mud wrestling elephant women looking
Oh,
girls.
No, I'm not. I mean, listen, knock yourself out. It's just not my cup of tea. And first you have to have a top-rate dental insurance fucking plan if you're gonna go up there on the mud bog stripper pole. And B, you're at a freaking mud fest,
Yeah.
not
let's go.
Rachel's.
I
Like,
think it was the girls' hockey team that was dancing.
Lord God, it was
They
bad.
don't have to.
Anyway,
Anyway, all right. So back to the Bible and Old Testament, New
Yeah, let's
Testament.
focus.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
we're digging a deep hole. We got to get out of here.
Good segue.
So, all right. So anyway, so let's go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and review one of y'all's songs.
Yeah, so this tune that you guys are going to review is called Disappear. We are actually, believe it or not, we're actually in June slated to go back, I should say, to Raincat Studios where Brian and Jeff,
Good
you guys
friends of
had,
ours.
yeah, you had not too long ago on your show. Great guys. I've worked with them before when I was with Loch Ness Monster. So we're going to go up there and we're going to re-record this one. It's called Disappear. And I think we have another tune that we are kind of slated to do So here's Disappear, and this is an original of Andrew Morris. Here's our kind of take on it, and
All right, so here we go. This is Disappear.
this was live at the Tuckahoe Mansion up in Stewart a couple months ago.
She had a skinny t-shirt and cowgirl boots. You could tell country raisins in her rooms. She loved talking to me. She said, "What's your name? You wanna dance?" I said, "Hell yeah, let's take a chance." We swung around all night on that old dance floor. She said, "You want
Does have that old country vibe.
toward Mexico. Yeah, the Gulf was nice this time of year." She said, "Boston, man, let's get up out here." Just
Someone's gonna stop that kid. That hula hoop.
Nah,
Where's parents?
stage presence in effect.
Yeah, it's a well done song.
Thank you.
This is an original.
So we loaded up the truck and we hit
like the
the
arrangement.
road.
Thank you.
She said Panama City was a place to go. We sang a song on the radio, never got home. 'Cause we were halfway down a one-way road. And I still can't believe. She said, "What's your name? You wanna dance?" I said, "Yeah, let's take a chance." We swung around that old dance floor. She said, "I wanna leave." I said, "Let's go." We head on down toward Mexico. And the club was nice as
So the band's tight.
Thank you.
she said, "Boston,
Rhythms are really locked in there. So I'm picking up Riffs. So
Here, we'll go with it. Yeah, I'm feeling rhythm.
this is like a slow, like a good old slow dance down, right?
Yeah, 100%.
You said you old little.
Yeah, buckle polisher, but it's not. It doesn't feel slow.
Yeah, it's got a background behind it.
Yeah, it's enough tempo, but
The fact that you weren't using the rim shots, you were doing full snare, kind of gives it a better energy.
Yeah, and with on the verses, which I think he kind of goes in between like a 4/4 and 3/4 time.
oh, okay.
They're back and forth. Took me off guard. And P.S. I hate 3/4 time. And I feel like 3/4 time should be done with jazz standards where you're just sitting there playing a ride. But that's my stupidity.
It just depends on how you count it.
Yeah, that's true.
Weren't you complaining about 6/8 before?
No, I like 6/8.
Yeah, well, isn't
No,
that
'cause-
just times two?
Honestly, look,
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, 100%.
because it's International Guitar Month.
Look at math.
I wanna analyze the rhythm.
math, right?
Son of a bitch. I
No,
need
but like most of the country tunes that I would hear with this vibe would be rim shot,
yeah.
and it didn't start out with the rim shot, or did you start with rim shot and then you moved over to full snare?
It starts out with just
Hi-hat, right?
vocals and guitar, and then just doing like some cymbal swells just for ambiance and little pingy things on the ride cymbal. So nothing loud to kind of keep the dynamics low until he goes into that chorus to do a build, and then we're full groove there. Couple breaks, like as you heard, based on the roadmap, and then when he goes into the verses, we go back down. At least for the first half of the verse, rim shot, and then kind of go into a full snare sound, and then kind of keep that going the rest of the song.
Very cool.
Yeah,
So
I think it's a well written song, well arranged as
Thank
well.
you.
all right, so we're gonna go here and say, is it the riff or is it the rhythm? And I'm going to go with the rhythm here because
Yeah, I'm going to go with rhythm. It's unanimous because being that it's just a four piece band, including the singer actually plays guitar. So there weren't any thematic riffs that were off to
Right.
offset the vocal.
right.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that even me as a drummer too, in contrast to playing with Loch Ness Monster, where I would just freaking hit hard. I hit hard still, but I think in this I've either matured and grown up a little bit, where I've come to appreciate the need
For
to back it down
right. Dynamics.
and remember, like, and I've never been the showboaty kind of drummer to begin with. I'm the pocket guy. I'm not going to stick twirl. I'm not going to shoot flames out my ass and try to prove like I'm better than anyone else. I want to get hired because I know I can learn the song well and I can play it well and just do my job. So I've also learned that my role is to showcase the other three guys in front of me, not to be the center of attention. So I've actually learned how to play a lot more dynamically and a lot more respectfully to Andrew's voice. And it's funny, like, we played a gig like 3 months ago at a joint whose name I'm not going to mention because they suck a bag of dicks, crawdaddies. Anyway, so we were playing there,
Dropping.
and there's the stage is there, and there's like the stage faces this way, but your backside is facing like the street where people are walking by or whatever. And there was a couple, and this gentleman was just like, "Oh my god, like what's your drum?" I guess he was a drummer. He started asking me stuff about my gear and like the cymbals, blah 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 blah. And probably in all like the 26, 27 years I've been playing, the greatest compliment like I ever got. It's like, bro, you play so like aware of them that you don't try to take over. Like, I can't believe how you can hear everybody else. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, thank you. So, it was a very good compliment of him, I guess, acknowledging my evolution or maturity in learning the instrument and playing the instrument. So I was grateful for that. So yeah, I mean, I love playing with them. They're just outstanding guys. So
Well, like you said, I think you mentioned that the initial meeting with them and then saying, "Hey, Andrew's going to give you a call to kind of get a vibe," and that's half of it, right? I think we always know and talk about is meeting and joining a band. Maybe a fill-in thing is one thing, as a hired gun. But
yeah, and I've before I even joined up with them, I did a sub gig where the same deal, and I guess here's my soapbox, if anything. Like, if you're going to get hired for any gig, like whatever instrument you play, if you're going to get paid for it and you're going to go there and you're going to put on a show, like, you better do your homework. Like, you better take the time to listen to the material, to study it, understand it, so that when you're there, yeah, you're going to have like the nerves a little bit, but you're not so freaked out because you didn't rehearse. And that's the other thing though too, whether it's either you go to an actual gig itself or you actually are going to sub for a band and you're going to go for a rehearsal or two before you actually do the live show. Any of those rehearsals beforehand, before the live show, that's not for you to go there and learn the freaking song. You better know the song before you get there. So you better do your homework. If there's shit that's like uber complicated, I mean, you could ask my my fiance. I'm on the table with my earbuds, the same freaking song on repeat 900 times, writing a freaking chart out. Because sometimes, I'm the kinesthetic learner, but I'm also the conceptual learner. So if I can wrap my brain around what's there, and then sometimes what's even funnier, at least for drumming, I can't really speak to guitars or whatever, or bass, but with drumming, like when you write it out and you're listening to it and you're just like, man, he made that sound so freaking complicated, but it's really only this. And you feel like a dumbass because you're just like, what the hell? And then you go and you kind of play it and you figure it's like, oh, okay, like I can do that. And maybe I don't suck a bag of dicks as bad as I think I do because we're our own worst freaking critics, but at the end of the day, like if you come to that gig prepared and ready to rock, and then you can do a good show, I'm pretty sure I can speak for most players of any instrument. Like that's the golden ticket. That's what you want. You don't want that.
Oh yeah,
guy.
that's all that matters. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter if you got 1,600 degrees or if you're a doctorate and playing live.
Yeah.
You show up on the bandstand. You can either play the gig or you can't.
Or you can't. And
That's it. That's all there is. But you know what? This episode doesn't even feel like it's even halfway over, and we're running out of time. So
my bad.
Hey, man, no. Would you come back next week and we could talk some more?
I would be honored.
Before we do all that, like, make sure to tell everybody what is your social media links. Like, how does everybody get to know
So
you?
yeah,
online?
so I'm on all the socials: Facebook, Instagram. You could just look up either Rene Rivera or Rene.the.drummer. For Andrew Morris Band, same deal on Facebook. Facebook is probably your best bet for seeing, dates for shows and wherever we're playing out and things like that. So same deal on Facebook, Andrew Morris Band. Or if you just want a real quick stop and shop, you can go to andrewmorrisband.com. Got a website. We've got some videos there, some live performances. And you can kind of find the links to all the socials. So we're on TikTok, we're on, Facebook and Instagram. Facebook, like I said, is mostly the informative side of things. We put some, media up there of some of the shows that we perform live. TikTok, it's all videos or whatever. So, but that's where you saw, Disappear, and a couple other fun things and stuff there. So yeah, that's where you can find me. That's where you can find the rest of the guy. I'm on TikTok too. So that China can continue tracking me. Anyway, so that's it.
Awesome. And we got Dino here that's helping us out. He's got a list of stuff we're supposed to do, and we haven't done the hilarious bits. So say something funny, Paul. Hurry up.
Thank you.
The timing was great though.
Well, I guess we're ready to wrap up then.
Well, as long as we can come back next week and do this some more, because this is great.
Sure. I mean, yeah, Renee's brought his own bottle of
He's got a bottle of Jameson.
He's a
Look at it.
Puerto Rican guy drinking Irish whiskey. Go figure.
Jameson, the preferred drink of the Andrew Morris Band.
Oh, baby.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, yeah, you gotta make sure you get that clip. Then send it to JMO, and then
That's the goal, baby.
Man. But seriously though, we'll talk afterwards. There is somebody who is a alcohol brand who's been dying to, who's really interested in a band who's willing to infuse certain things into their songs to promote their brand.
I mean, we don't discriminate.
Okay, well, we'll talk. I'll have my agent call your agent. And,
Yeah.
I'll
Have your
connect
people
you.
call my people, and we'll see what's up.
That's right.
Rock on.
All right, so we're ready to shut her down for the night here.
We're going to shut it down for the night? Really?
Yeah, well, hey, we got shit to do, man.
This time passes so quick.
You got like CDs to sell and
Yeah.
and
I don't even know why I'm hanging out with you people. I got other people. That
It's a school night too, and I got to go to bed at some point.
Yeah.
For tomorrow.
Renee's got to.
I gotta say, since it is International Guitar Month, I do want to say thank you to Paul. He's a great drummer. He plays his pitch slap, and he really does all the work. I just show up and make fun of him, but he spends the hours editing out all the stupid things that I say. And so I just want to say thanks, Paul.
You're
Totally
welcome.
rock. He's the mastermind behind this whole thing.
Well, I appreciate you saying all the stupid things because all that ends up on TikTok, and shorts and clips. So keep it up there, buddy. Keep up all the stupid, hilarious bits, and we'll go there. So, all right. So, again, thanks for tuning in tonight there. We'll learn more, hang out with Rene next week also. We're going to chat a little bit more. We're going to get into a little bit of a topic discussion on some things here. So, definitely tune in for next week's episode there. So, let's get her done, man.
Rock on. So this is the Riffs and
Rhythms Podcast.
I'm Kevin, and he's
Paul Robertson.
Oh, yeah.